everybody, how's it going? October is, of course, upon us, and with that comes an exciting holiday, Halloween. Now, Halloween's been one of those things for the past several years, and long story short, Halloween used to be huge, I'm not gonna lie. When I was a kid, the hype was real. There was no hype. There didn't even have to be hype. I was just excited for Halloween every single year. Usually around August or September, I would start getting ready. As soon as the Halloween costumes came out, I'd want to go to the store and get one. It was always this thing. It was almost like too much, like I would really stress over it to the point where it was like, do I want to be Spider-Man? Do I want to be Sonic? Do I want to be this or that? And, this kind of reached its head, I'd say, maybe mid-2000s, early 2000s even. The Skull Ninja in 2000, I rehashed that story over and over again. That was like one of my favorite Halloween costumes. I don't know why. It just kind of came about. It was one of those things that it was after the year after I was Spider-Man, and Spider-Man's still probably my favorite Halloween costume that I wore, but the year after I was Spider-Man, I was like, I didn't know what I wanted to be, there were all these ideas, and for some reason I just settled on this Skull Ninja thing, and I wore that costume like crazy. Like, I wore it a lot of September and October of 2000, and that Halloween was great, one of my favorite Halloweens, and not that other Halloweens weren't great, but after that, 2001 was a really good Halloween. 2002 was pretty good. But like I said, you keep going on. Eventually, Halloween kind of reached its conclusion, to not to sound too dramatic, but, around 2006, 2007. And I actually had some pretty good costumes, and I've had some pretty good costumes since 2007. My last really good costume, I think, was 2011, when I was Dr. Robotnik for Halloween. A lot of people thought I was Mario. I don't really know why. But that was a really cool costume for a few reasons. One being that, I love Sonic the Hedgehog. I wanted to be Dr. Robotnik. I thought it was a fun idea. It worked a lot better than I expected. It was a costume that I was able to make fairly easily. I just needed a fake mustache and kind of a bald cap. And I had these glasses that year. I actually still have them somewhere, but I don't know if they still work. The point of view glasses. They were black sunglasses, but they had a camera in the middle of them, and Robotnik in some of the games wore black glasses, so it went with the costume. And for some clips of that video, I was taking it from the point of view of my camera. In fact, that was one of the last times that camera worked. But since then, there have been all sorts of costumes or around that time, ranging from symbolic to just kind of simplistic. 2009, I wore the Phantom Mask, the silver Phantom Mask that became kind of a big deal when it came out with Blockbuster, but before that it was just a Phantom Mask, and actually that costume probably has like the least significance. But 2012 I actually brought that Phantom Mask back, and it was a much more significant costume because underneath the Phantom wear I was dressed as Zack Masters, and underneath that I was dressed as the movie hero, so it was kind of a symbolic return to form of my main characters. And it just so happened by coincidence that in 2013 I started working on Blockbuster 3 and really bringing those costumes out of retirement. But last year was interesting because it was another character that I wanted to be, Deadpool. And, I'm not trying to just give you a historical perspective here, but I'm just saying, looking forward to the future, Halloween 2015, I'm not really sure what I want to do this year. I'm not going to lie, I do have a costume idea. I actually think it's one of my better costume ideas. It's coming together pretty quickly. And in a way, that kind of reminds me of the old days and getting my costume together and having some excitement about Halloween. And, the last several years, I'm not going to lie, Halloween has been a bit of an afterthought, which is funny because it comes before Christmas, but it's been an afterthought to Christmas. During October, I'd be planning for Christmas, and then, oh yeah, by the way, it's Halloween. So at the end of October, I would frantically put together this costume that was usually okay. 2013 was another kind of lazy costume, to say the least. But last year I did try. This year I'm trying even more. And this is a costume, and I'm not going to give it away, but this is a costume I've actually been planning for many years. It seems like almost every year it's in the back of my mind that I want to be this character, and it just never materializes, so I settle for something else. But this year I'm going to go for it, and there'll be some teasers out to give you a clue on who that character is. He's actually one of my favorites ever. And it's a surprise I haven't been him for Halloween yet. But like I said, it was just always something I thought of and then never came up with it. And I'll talk about that more later. But this year, Halloween, and October in general, it looks to be pretty exciting. A lot of things are going on in October, and Halloween should be the focus. It should be one of the main focuses. It isn't always, and admittingly, I'll probably get distracted by Christmas again somewhere in the middle of October, because there's only so much to do. There's only so much time in life, between jobs and stuff, and you don't know what else could come up. Last year I had some unfortunate circumstances that kind of made Halloween less important. But this year we're going to see what happens. And like I said, 2015 may see a return to form for Halloween. May. I've said this for many years. It seems like for the last 5 or 6 years I've said this is the year. And Halloween has been fun. And I actually plan to post some montages in the coming days and weeks, so check that out, of some of my favorite Halloween moments. Because when I go back and really look at it, Halloween has had some really great moments. And it's a shame that, it's kind of just become a holiday to remember those rather than to make new memories. But there have been some great memories from Halloween. Even last year had some pretty fun ones. But like I said, Halloween's kind of a mixed bag, so to speak. But when I think about it, and I wanted to take a moment to talk about Halloween in general, is there more of a kid's holiday than Halloween? Dressing up as kooky characters and essentially playing make-believe for a day while getting candy. What else did you want to do as a kid than play make-believe and get candy? That was pretty much the ultimate. You go out with your friends and pretend you were all these characters, at least I would. This is before they had a lot of video games. And it was fun, and you would do that a lot. And of course, when you got candy, it was a huge treat. So Halloween was that day that brought it both together. You could be Spider-Man, you could be something else. I never really got into the whole scary aspect of Halloween. I know it's part of it, and I did like some of the scary movies, but as far as dressing scary, I've only had a few really scary costumes. In fact, this year could almost be constituted as one by default, but I was Frankenstein one year, I think. I was never a vampire or, a monster or any of the cliche things. I was usually some kind of character. The Skull Ninja was supposed to be a combination of, scary and ninja. I was Sub-Zero one year. I was a biker one year. So, I've never really subscribed to the scary side of Halloween, but certainly I respect that. And that is kind of a big deal with Halloween, horror movies and Halloween being kind of a scary holiday, which it's a weird contrast. I've always questioned Halloween, A lot of things about Halloween. In some ways, it's a really cool holiday. In some ways, it's kind of a bizarre holiday. Why does candy go together with scary things? I don't know. I just don't know. But Halloween this year looks to be at least promising. I'm not going to get my hopes way up and then just have another Halloween where I'm sitting here going, well, that was decent, wasn't it? So we'll see what happens. There's still a while to go, about 4 or 5 weeks now. Trying to invest in Halloween this year. We'll see how it goes. Love to hear some of your Halloween plans. Hit me up in the comments. I'll be back with more as October continues, and I hope you all have a happy Halloween and a safe fall season. Here we go.